She smelled gas, really strong gas. It's really strong. She said nothing was in there, and she started to walk, and she was going downstairs to check the furnace. And about 15 seconds later, the phone went dead.
One person has been seriously injured in a house explosion. Fire crews are right now on the scene battling this massive fire.
There is no doubt this home is a total loss, but if not for some brave, courageous neighbors, a lot more could have been lost.
My dad, so I just sent him a text, and I was so scared. I just said, "Dad, the cabin just blew up and Mom was in it. Please help," because I didn't know what to say.
The cabin is exploded, and Mom is in there.
Get out of here! What is he doing? Oh my God.
Once I got to her, then the fire was, on top of her. The floor system from this upper floor had fallen, kind of like a lean tube, and then she was up underneath it, pinned. Her right foot was pinned underneath there. So there was 3 2x6s that are pinned over her waist, and then she had a big beam, a log beam underneath her back, and that was pinching her. She just couldn't. Her angle was she couldn't move. And she was calling out, as much as she could, help, help. And then we get there, and then I remember something falling above on that, and it just starts to crackle and pop, and we both jump back. We're like, what do we do? What do we do?
Lori she was in some bad shape. I mean, when I first kind of got a good look at her, at least at her face, all her teeth on this side of her, on that right side of her face were missing. And, her just bruised or, whatever on her, I don't know if it was burns or bruises or anything like that in her, on her face. But yeah, she had some pretty good trauma going.
We get in there, and Eric's like, we have to pull her out. I mean, he's screaming at us like, you have to pull as hard as you can. It doesn't matter how much she screams. Fire was kicking up so quick that it was getting hot.
I remember pulling on her and trying to help, pull her out, and I think I remember telling her that she needs to fight and help herself too, and I think I remember giving a good kick, and that helped get her out of there.
In my mind, we had to be out of there in 1 or 2 minutes, probably 1, because it was getting worse rapidly. And there's 3 civilians in there trying to rescue a victim that's pinned, and that's just a crazy task. And then even once we found her, the basement was still just a debris field. There was wouldn't be like dragging one of you through this bank and out the front door. Like, that's easy. But with given all the debris, it was climbing over everything, and nail holes in all of our legs and whatever else happened as a result of it.
I think the hardest part was how much pain she was in. Yeah. And to even touch her, it was, she was screaming. And it was so lucky. If she was 3 feet further, there's no way we would have gotten her out.
I was able to get directly up the hill from the house, and I slammed on the brakes and kind of skid into the side of the snowbank, and I jumped out. And I remember thinking I was running down the hill, but I just sunk. The snow was so deep. I don't know if it was just past my waist or what, but I couldn't run, so I just rolled down to an RV parking pad. And then I ran and jumped off of that and rolled again. And there was a lady there. I think she was the communications director. And I said, my wife is in there. Tell me she's alive. Tell me, is she alive? And she kind of put her hand on my shoulder, and she's like, I don't know. And so I ran past her, and there were two more people there. And I said, my wife's in there. You tell me she's alive. And they said, you know, we're sorry. We're sorry she didn't make it.
So when we first got her out and we got her down the embankment, we were probably there. Mark handed us, you know, got his coat out and we put it underneath her armpits and were able to kind of make a sling. Eric was holding the feet, and then we each had each arm of the coat, and then we were, I mean, the snow was probably about waist deep.
I helped put her on the gurney, the cot, and put her in the ambulance. But at that point, then I was able to, we'd done everything we could. Our part was done.
All the kids were kind of huddled together by a couch. And I just fell to my knees. I opened my arms, and they all came and hugged me and were in tears. I told them that their mom didn't make it, and that Lori had died. We all just sat in that hallway and cried together.
Yeah, went into my house, and Kelly was on the stairs. She's alive, she's broken. I remember telling Kelly, she's broken, but she's alive. We just put her in an ambulance and she's on her way.
I said, Eric, is she going to live? Is she going to make it? He said, Kelly, I don't know.
I just remember being terrified. Lori was in a coma, and she was on a ventilator, and she had tubes going into her heart and into her stomach.
Okay, all this aside, we know there's lots of problems. We know there's endless challenges with her body, but is she going to live? It wasn't until Monday that one of the doctors said, she is going to live. She's going to make it. We're not sure if she'll ever be able to walk again, or we don't know how her brain will function, or we don't know how her, if her hand will ever be usable again, but her vitals are strong and she's going to live.